You ever get that feeling that there's just more going on than what we can see with our eyes? Well, we're about to dive into a philosophy that says you are absolutely right. There's a whole world of unseen energies, hidden potentials, a world where you might just have superpowers.
So let's just start with that wild idea. What if you do have secret superpowers? And I don't mean they're just sitting there dormant. I mean abilities that are right now actively shaping a reality you might not even be aware of. That's the incredible concept we're going to unpack. The source material we're looking at calls these mystic abilities. Now, these aren't like comic book powers you're just born with. No, they're described as inner powers that you have to work for. They tap into an unseen energy, and here's the kicker, they must be earned and mastered.
I love this analogy because it's just perfect. Think about a sledgehammer. Is it good? Is it evil? Well, it's neither, right? It's just a tool. You can use it to build something amazing, or you can use it to tear everything down. It all depends on who's swinging it. And that's exactly how these mystic abilities are framed.
And of course, trying to use a sledgehammer with your eyes closed is probably not a great idea. You have to see where you're aiming. That's where mystic senses come in. Think of them like your spiritual eyes and ears, your intuition, that gut feeling. They're what you need to navigate this unseen world and actually aim your powers.
Okay, so we've got these powers, and we have senses to guide them. The big question is, what are we building with them? Well, according to this philosophy, we are constantly creating. So let's break down the three worlds we are supposedly building, every single moment.
Now, this is a mind-bending idea. The core premise is that nothing is ever wasted. Every single thought, every little feeling, every action, it's all like a brick. And you're constantly laying these bricks, building not just your future in this life, but literally constructing the reality you'll experience in the afterlife.
And check this out. These are the two potential destinations we're building. On one hand, you've got the etheric plane. Think of it like a cosmic savings account, where all your good, virtuous investments crystallize into a beautiful paradise. On the other hand, there's the astral plane. That's where all your unpaid debts go, and it crystallizes into what the source calls a garbage dump.
You gotta love the sarcasm from one of the characters in the source, Evelyn. She says, let me ponder this for a while. Do I want to create a beautiful mansion or a haunted house? The choice seems like a total no-brainer, right? But the scary part is, how many of us are building that haunted house without even realizing it?
So, how do we make sure we're building that mansion and not the haunted house? Well, it all comes down to the quality of our inner state. And this brings us to a really crucial distinction between two totally different types of feelings, the chemical and the mystic.
First up, chemical happiness. We all know this one. It's that rush from getting a bunch of likes on a post or buying something new. It feels great for a second, but it's not a real state of being. It's just a biological event, a burst of dopamine. It's a thrilling spike, and what goes up must come down. That spike is always followed by a dip.
And Evelyn just nails what that roller coaster feels like. Warm and cold all day long. Dreading and anticipating all day long. What a torturous way to live. It's totally exhausting, right? This constant chase for the next high, just to avoid the crash from the last one.
And here's exactly how that trap works. Some experience gives you that chemical rush. Your brain logs it and goes, ooh, I want more of that. That feeling turns into a craving, and the craving becomes this powerful desire. And before you know it, you're a puppet on a string, manipulated by the constant chase for that next temporary fix. But there is another way, an alternative, and that is through what are called mystic feelings. We're talking about deep, genuine peace, real joy, true harmony. This stuff isn't based on brain chemistry. It's described as a sustainable flow of spirit energy. It's not a spike and a dip. It's a steady, constant state you can actually cultivate and live in.
Now, making the switch from that chemical roller coaster to this mystic flow sounds great, but it isn't a walk in the park, and you're not out there all alone. The landscape is apparently full of both helpers and hazards. There are masters and guides, but there are also plenty of traps.
And make no mistake, the stakes here are incredibly high. You've got real-deal guides on one side, graduated masters who are there to help from the etheric plane. But on the other side, you've got traps, astral beings, who are described as intelligent, ruthless, and cunning liars. They pretend to be wise masters, but their only goal is to trick and corrupt you.
And here's what's so tricky. The deception is subtle. It's not going to be some obvious-in-your-face lie.
The source warns that a lot of false teachings are more like 90% truth, but with 10% poison expertly woven in. It's just enough truth to make you swallow the lie.
So what does all this mean? It means your discernment has to be razor sharp. Remember those mystic senses we talked about? Your intuition? This is where they become absolutely critical. They're not just for creating, they're for navigating. Without them, as the source puts it so bluntly, you are walking blind among the beasts.
Okay, so we've got powers, feelings, guides, traps. What's the endgame? Where is all of this supposed to lead? Well, it all comes together in what this philosophy calls the ultimate mission, your cosmic graduation.
Yep, you heard me right. The entire experience of life on Earth is framed as a kind of curriculum. The whole point of being here, in this view, is to learn your lessons, pass your tests, and finally graduate from what is called soul school.
And what are the graduation requirements? Well, you've got to master the divine virtues, develop all those mystic senses and abilities, and learn to resist temptation from your own ego and from those false teachers. The final project is to weave all of that into a permanent solar body, or a soul suit that lets you transcend the school itself.
This quote from Evan really captures the whole mindset of a dedicated student on this path. My soul is enrolled in soul school until I graduate. It's this incredible sense of purpose. It frames the entire journey not as just getting by, but as a quest for true, lasting freedom. And that really brings us to the heart of it all. This philosophy presents a universe where every single moment is a lesson and every single choice matters. So it leaves us with one profound personal question to think about. In the grand classroom of your life, what is your soul learning today?